Hey, hi. How are you? Sorry if that is like really abrupt for you guys and it's not a fun time. It's abrupt for me too if it makes you feel better. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Lax Unpacks. We've made it through a few more weeks of the world, you guys. I'm pretty proud of us. Um, I'm at least proud of myself, if anything, and I'm proud of you. If you're still here and you're still kicking, oh my goodness, have you seen it out there? Whew. But anyway, I know it's been a long time. I I've just been going through it, but like the world, I've had a time, and I would love to say like I haven't had time to do this. I have had time. I've just chosen to spend my time differently. I think as part of like coping with a lot of what's happening in the world, I'm still going to my therapy and my psychiatry and all of that. But I think just a lot of it is everything is happening so quickly right now, and everything's getting scarier at a faster pace. At least for me in my bubble. Maybe your bubble looks different than mine, but ooh, on my side it is, whew, it's not a fun time. But either way, we're here to not talk about that. We're here to talk about different stuff, right? We're called lax unpacks, not panic unpacks, not like let's talk about things in real life that are like really, really awful right now, currently at the moment stuff. Although I can't guarantee I won't ever do an episode where I'm not talking about like a current thing. But either way, we're here to talk today about Ken Allen. And he was an orangutan. And when I tell you, I could not be more delighted to be talking about Ken today. He was an absolute gem. Like I can't describe. Like I can describe, but like it's not going to do justice for how much of a gem this Harry Houdini Ken Allen was. He was an orangutan. With like the cutest face, honestly. You have to see him. You have to look him up. Maybe I'll put his face on this like episode thumbnail icon thing so that you can just look at his cute little face. Ugh. But he was an orangutan and probably a perceived pest, I would assume, to the many people who interacted with him in the employee sector of his life, I guess. Like the staff members at the zoo. I'm sure he was a pest. Um, but he was, in my eyes, he was such a gem. So I had to share him with you. I actually struggled a lot to find something to talk about that wasn't like really, really heavy and, but also like entertaining, right? And not that I have to be excessively entertaining, but I want to find things that like I think you guys will also find interesting along with me. Um, so I was just, I was browsing the internet like I do, and Harry Houdini caught my eye because it's spelled Harry, like hair on your head, Harry. And there was this picture of Ken Allen, and I was like, no way somebody named an orangutan Ken Allen, but they did. And he's so cute. I love him so much. But yes, a gem. And I was giggly while I was researching this and I was reading about him and I was just looking at his cute little face and like honestly, okay, his face is probably a lot larger than mine, in comparison, I guess. But I'm gonna continue to call it a cute little face because it's just a cute little face to me. Just like you, little ball face. Just like you. All right. But like, yeah, it's just chef's kiss to everybody who's compiled information for this lovely orangutan. He kind of just became a media sensation, honestly, all on his own. Just right time, right place, I think. But it was just such a beautiful experience for me to like research this because I got to read and see so much of Ken Allen, and it's just a delight. Like, I recommend you go look up pictures. If you want to be happy, just go take a look at Ken Allen. He's really, really cool. I do also hope that that means like my happiness while I was reading and my giddiness while I was doing research will sort of transcend into how much I just love Ken. And like, I want you guys to be happy, so I hope you guys are also happy. Oh, also, I'm bevied and baked. I completely forgot to say that. Usually I'm so on top of it, but I'm bevied and baked, just ever so slightly. And I'm drinking a Coke Zero tonight, whatever time it is for you. But anyway, I'm drinking a Coke Zero, and I've got my little Treehouse vape with me today. I don't have any idea what flavor it was. I think it was like blue cereal, actually. I don't know. I think it's just a wild thing that I can have it delivered to me. But obviously, like, I live somewhere where it's legal and all of that stuff. But back to it. I am delighted today to bring you the story of Ken Allen. So he was a Bornean orangutan who lived at the San Diego Zoo. He was actually born there. And he became we'll say very, very well known. He was a blasty blast to be around, this one. Just a straight up delight. Ken was very well known because Ken was very, very good at escaping his enclosures. Hence the nickname of the Hairy Houdini. Ken was born on February 13th, 1971 in San Diego, California at the San Diego Zoo. This is where he would spend his whole life. Ken kind of also had a rough start to life. His mom, who was named Maggie, apparently tried to smother him and actually had shown a lot of neglectful behavior towards him. So zookeepers Ken Willingham and Ben Allen, do we see the name? Ken Bellingham and Ben Allen. Ken Allen. Get it? Get it? All right. Anyway, so they stepped in to save Ken Allen, and he actually became just pretty comfortable around humans altogether. I don't know if that really helped him in his situation or, no, I do kind of think that helped him in his situation. Some sources do say also that zookeepers said that Ken Allen was really just too intelligent for his own good. Like from the beginning, from the get-go, he was just too smart. So when he was a little baby duder, or a young orangutan, if you will, he showed signs of some future escape artist tendencies, and he started unscrewing the bolts of his cage. He would apparently just stroll around the nursery at night and then return in the morning, but not forgetting to assemble his bolts for his enclosure before the staff started to show up for the day. This was like when he was in like a crib enclosure as like a baby. Again, like, just so smart, man. He was so smart. Oh, I love Ken. I'm sad that he died. But sorry, spoiler alert. But anyway, so his enclosure was thought to be escape proof, which I guess was very, very, very wrong of them to assume. But some sources say that Ken Allen also happened to just be strolled around by one of the nursery like attendants. So one of the attendants had noticed that he was escaping and unscrewing bolts and everything, and then they just started strolling him around instead. And I guess that quelled his behavior. I don't know. There's kind of mixed signals when you read about him. But either way, both sides are cute. I don't care. But either way, he'd get out and he would just roll around at night, stroll around in the nursery and be all Ken, you know? But if you think about it, he was probably like really satisfied with himself. Like, you fucking know Ken came home to his little cribby crib and he was just happy as hell with himself. And I bet he slept really well. I bet he did. And you see, Ken is such a gem, right? Him's just smart, being in his crib and getting in trouble. I love him. I love him so much. All right. Anyway, this is all kind of a view into the futures of the zookeepers' lives, unfortunately, when he was a young little baby orangutan escaping his crib cage. Um, his first kind of real escape, though, happened on June 13th, 1985. This was the day that Ken made his first headline grabbing escape. He somehow managed to scale the wall of his enclosure and then just walk around the zoo. Yep, that's right. He just walked around. There were visitors there, by the way. They got to watch Ken just walk around, look at the other animals, and basically just do the same thing that these other tourists were doing. He was just acting like another little human, you know? Actually, tourists would even come up to Ken and take pictures with him, and he was so calm and chill, and I love that. But imagine being at the zoo and seeing like a 4 foot something, 250-pound orangutan named Ken, of all names. Not that you would know that before you knew that, but you know what I mean. Ken also escaped on June 29th and August 13th. He did the same thing as last time, and he would escape and just sort of wander around peacefully. Mostly, but we'll get to that a little bit more later. The staff at the zoo were also starting to get super frustrated, and understandably so, I think at least. Like, imagine coming into work and just being like, damn it, Ken, again, Ken? Like, do you think it kept them up at night? Thinking about like the different bolts or metals or hinges or whatever that they needed to like construct Ken's enclosure out of. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I bet it did. I bet it ate them alive at times. I hope it didn't. I really hope it didn't, but I bet it did. Knowing me, if I was a zookeeper there, I would be like, what am I going to do about Ken? You know what I mean? Like, it would eat me alive. Because I'd be at home and I'd be like, Ken's probably getting out right now. I don't know how he's doing it. All right, anyway. So on Ken's third escape, he made it to Otis's enclosure. Otis happened to be another orangutan, and apparently Otis was just not it, you know? He was not nice, apparently. I don't know. Ken just didn't like him. No one's 100% sure why. Ken just did not like him. So Ken got caught throwing rocks at Otis, allegedly, from my boy, because he didn't like him, right? He was like, nah, I don't like you. See, now this is the energy that Ken brought to the universe, that was just pure magic. I love him so, so much. I'm sorry I keep saying that. I can't get over it. I love Ken Allen. He was such a beautiful contribution to things in the world. Unfortunately, all of these little adventures that Ken went on, these escapes, they all landed Ken in solitary confinement afterwards. Poor guy, right? But also, damn, Kevin, chill, or Kevin, damn, Ken, chill, you know? Like, maybe don't throw rocks at Otis, okay? But zookeepers eventually got so frustrated that they started surveillance on Ken's enclosure. Ken, however, seemed to 100% know what the fuck they were up to. He refused to show any signs of trying to escape and would quite literally just act like a normal orangutan when he knew that they were watching him. Again, this is how smart Ken was. He had just previously also been caught before these major escapes with a crowbar-style branch in his enclosure, but he quickly swept it to the side when someone walked by and noticed it, as if he was uninterested. Like, I don't think you guys grasp. I'm so blown away and impressed by Ken. Again, Ken was otherworldly. I kind of hope they studied Ken's brain, honestly. I know that might sound really disrespectful, but how could this not add so much value to science, you know? Like knowing, because I'm almost speechless sometimes thinking about Ken. Am I wrong in being so obsessed with this? Leave comments on this episode and tell me if I'm being too hype about Ken or if I'm not being hype enough. I don't know. He's so smart. But anyway, yeah. Zookeepers even tried to go undercover as tourists. So they would dress up as tourists and they would just walk around, act like they're just, taking pictures of the animals and looking. Ken also knew that what they were doing. He just knew. He saw right through it. He was like, no, you can't fool me. Like, that's so cute. He also escaped once when his enclosure was clogged. His water pump got clogged for his moat. So his moat dried up. So Ken, he just simply walked across the dry moat and hoisted himself up onto the rocks outside of his enclosure. Kenny boy. Ken, just look at my man go. After each escape, Ken Allen would be placed again in solitary confinement until they would figure out ways to help prevent future escapes for Ken Allen. And then he just kept on keeping on despite the consequences, including encountering electrical fencing on an escape attempt that happened in 1986. And then, some other orangutans actually started to escape as well, learning from Ken's careful instruction to them. He was a bro. He was a real bro to the other orangutans. He would show them how to do stuff. Like, how cute is that? He would show them how to use tools. The zoo eventually did spend $40,000 to completely secure Ken's enclosure. They hired experienced rock climbers to identify any toe or finger footholds. And then what they did is they smoothed the front of the surfaces in his enclosure and eliminated basically any cracks and crevices that Ken could use to pull himself up with. Afterwards, Ken was never able to escape again. Poor guy, honestly. Fun over. In a quote, "He is not cured, just contained. I think the impulse to climb out is still there." And this was a quote from Ken's keeper, Gail Foland. The zoo also tried to turn his wanderlust into just straight up pure lust by adding 4 female orangutans into his enclosure. They had kind of hoped that this companionship would distract him. They were like, hey, we're just going to throw some females at him and hope that he forgets about trying to wander, right? Trying to get out. However, at one point, Ken Allen and his mate Vicky teamed up for a dual escape, with Ken instructing Vicky on the use of a branch as a crowbar, remember, according to witnesses. Eventually, with all of the enhanced security measures, his escapes came to an end. But during Ken's escapes, though, he kind of became a national celebrity. People made t-shirts and stickers and bumper stickers and all kinds of things that had slogans like, quote, "Free Ken Allen," quote, end quote, So, I'm not gonna lie, I might have to make some Free Ken Allen shirts, just in honor of him, and put his face on them. I just think I need to. So if you see one of those floating around, it may or may not be me. I don't know. You don't know. There was even a fan club also inspired by him, and they were called the Orang Gang, and I think they're still around actually. By the way, it is mostly composed of retirees who followed his adventures with a lot of enthusiasm, and I get it. I think I'm in the Orang Gang now, you guys. Unless it's divulged into something completely different that I'm not in it. I take no part in it. Pretty please no. But yeah, the Orang Gang, beautiful. They also had Ken Allen sweatshirts. They became top sellers. A psychiatrist suggested that Ken Allen represented the universal urge for freedom, and he wrote The Ballad of Ken Allen. So there's a song out there that you can listen to It's called The Ballad of Ken Allen. Um, yeah, he has a song written about him. It's just so cool. I do have some really sad news now, though. So if you're not sitting down, you probably should be. Trigger warning for death. But in the winter of 2000, Ken Allen began showing signs of illness. He was diagnosed with B-cell lymphoma. Due to the slim chance of surviving the treatment with chemo and radiation, Ken was euthanized on December 1st, 2000, at the age of 29. B-cell lymphoma is rare in orangutans, by the way, and it's just a very, very fast-spreading cancer altogether. Zoo Executive Director Douglas Myers told a hushed news conference, so like a small news conference, that the San Diego Zoo's animal care staff made the difficult decision to ease Kenny's suffering. He was dearly loved and he will be sorely missed. And this was really cute when I saw it. In the days leading up to Ken Allen's death or his euthanization, the Orang Gang members held a vigil outside Ken Allen's enclosure. And I'm sorry, my voice is cracking up, not because I'm crying, but it is really sad. But I just think that's so sweet. Like, I think about how much this orangutan was loved and like adored by so many people and the impact that he made on people's lives, and somehow is still making the impact, because I just randomly saw a picture of him today and was like, oh, I have to tell people about him. I guess not randomly saw a picture, because I was looking for stuff to do an episode on and I stumbled upon him. But I'm so glad I got to just stop in quick and tell you about Ken Allen, because I love him. You should totally look up pictures of him and his there's one picture out there where he's like giving the middle finger, sort of, kind of. I don't know, it probably wasn't on purpose, but I am here for Ken Allen energy always. I'm a stan, you know. Anyway, this is a really, really short episode for you today, but I'm also kind of a fan of that sometimes myself. Like, I like episodes that are not hours long sometimes, but sometimes I do enjoy that. So I don't know. I really hope you guys enjoy inconsistency. Oh, I'm really sorry. You probably love consistency. I just can't give that to you. But what I can give you is the occasional stop in of being bevied and baked and talking about weird stuff and fun stuff and happy stuff and sometimes probably sad stuff. I am probably going to do a couple episodes about like missing persons that are still missing, like unsolved mysteries. I've been seeing a lot of those that are really interesting lately and just kind of sad and devastating, but I think more awareness around things like that is good. Not that my podcast is going to reach incredible audiences, but I just think telling people's stories is important, and more awareness for people who need it is important. So I'm going to do that. I think. Maybe. I don't know. Let me know. I guess if you want different types of stuff. I don't know. Me podcast as Sue podcast, you know? Like, this can be an open forum. You can leave comments. You can email me at reneepaxpod that's RENEPAXPOD @gmail.com. What else? I don't know. I think that's it, guys. Okay, bye. You're going to hear my clicking. That was not dramatic. It wasn't as dramatic as I wanted it to be.